come out chased by hounds. Round and round we go, wearing a pinche rabbit's foot for luck, just ahead of the fucking hounds. ¿Qué hubo? ¡Ah! ¡Qué vida es! ¡Qué loca vida, home!
Como decimos en México, hay que dejarnos de mamadas. No hay que... Los cinturones aquí se hacen a un lado. Hay que pelear por honor y por gloria nada más.
I invite him into the ring, and like we say in Mexico, we don't fuck around. We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone.
En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie.
We don't come to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
What's your prediction for the fight then?
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
Como decimos en México, hay que dejarnos de mamadas.
We come out chased by hounds.
Diego.
Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on archive. D-Style Boxing. I'm being joined by Maestro A and also by H Money. And of course, we have our first guest of the evening, Armani Almestica. How's it going, brother? How are you doing?
Everything good, man. Just staying focused, man. Ready. You know, gain, like I always say, we gaining and maintaining. And not much. I fight June 11th in Orlando, Florida. And not much, man. Just staying focused and staying in shape. Make sure you're handling the weight right now.
There we go. We're looking for that 3-0. Orlando, you've been notified and you're on notice that Armani will be back. Legacy is the nickname. I want to ask you about that first. Talk to us about your nickname. Why did you choose that nickname, or who gave you that nickname? Tell us the origins about it.
Well, the legacy start from my grandfather, that he started boxing. He used to box. Hey, look, my grandfather used to box, but he didn't make it all the way. Like, he got to some amateur fights. My dad started. Then my dad started fighting. And then my dad started boxing too, and he went pro. And then now they want, basically is that they call me the lazy because they want me to finish what they wasn't able to finish. That's basically
okay. So you're gonna fulfill their legacy with your success, and that's what it's all about, right there. You know, we talked to a lot of prospects on here who have dads that, you know, sometimes, you know, they couldn't continue boxing because they had to provide for their family, or they had an injury, or, you know, or whatnot. Things get in the way, you know, life gets in the way sometimes. Sometimes it's an obstacle, and sometimes it's just a hurdle that you could jump over. I was looking a little bit into your amateur career here. I just want some clarification, right? So I saw you on Team USA's page, but I also saw that you did amateur boxing representing Puerto Rico as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. All right. And you had an opportunity to hopefully represent Puerto Rico in the Olympics, right? Did I have that correct? Okay, because I did see a pro debut, and the, you know, in my opinion, should be Hall of Famer if he's not already. And Nate Campbell was announcing the fight, and you looked really good in that fight. Really good straight left hand, going to the body. I mean, we don't really see prospects go to the body like that, you know. And while they did mention it was in the amateurs, but even in the amateurs, like guys that come out of the amateurs, they're the headhunters. What makes you unique? Like who put in your head to attack the body as well as the head so early in your career?
Well, the legacy, it's different. Like, everything I know from my father, you feel what I'm saying? Like, we got a different type of, like, our talent is unique. Like, our talent is a one and only type of thing. Like, what I do, not too many people could do. Like you say, not too. It's old school too, and not like you said, not too many people be going to the body and shit like that. But me and my dad, like, I don't know, it's the one and only thing. Like, you feel me? Like, everything I learned and everything, how I fight and all that's because of my father. You feel what I'm saying? And I always taught, like, you know how they say, to cut a tree, you got to start from the bottom. You feel what I'm saying? Anytime you see a guy moving too much, too hyper, or you know the time to slow him down, anything to the body. And plus, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'd rather get hit to the face than to the body.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's hard to recover from a nice liver shot, that's for sure. All right. And no doubt about that. What made you turn pro so early? Like, what was it? The COVID thing that you kind of say, I don't know about this. Like, what made you turn pro?
Yep, it was part of it. Yeah, basically it was the COVID and that. Like, I didn't see myself nothing more like in the amateurs. Like, I don't know what else to win but the Olympics. Like, I had won every tournament but the Olympics. You feel what I'm saying? Then, if me waiting for the Olympics was gonna hold me back down because it was a whole different type of thing. To Puerto Rico, when I qualified for the team, they kept us busy and stuff like that. But we was getting ready. I don't know. Look, to be honest, what made me go pro is the COVID, and because it was taking too long. You feel me, for the Olympics and all that crazy other shit. Mm-hmm.
Now, another question I have for you before I ask us, before Milcar or H, I'm going to go, asking here, because there's, some things that were on the news and stuff. So how focused are you in boxing right now? Because what matters is the present, not the past. In the present, how focused are you in boxing? And are you staying away from any trouble and stuff like that?
Right now, I'm more focused than ever. I'm not mad at the past because the past, that's what got me here. You feel what I'm saying?
Sure.
But what happened to me, that was one of the best things that happened to me in my life at an early age. It taught me a lot of shit. That happened to me for trying to take life and everything the fast route. For trying to take the fast route and being lazy and not trying to work for my shit. That's where that happened. But that was the best thing that happened in my life. Ever since that happened, the first thing I did when I got out of jail was make the Olympic team in Puerto Rico, which that was a blessing. Like, when I jumped out of there, it was blessings from there on. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that was the best thing that happened to me. It helped me with a lot of things. It helped me how to appreciate life, appreciate the talent that God gave me. Like, I don't know, it just fixed my whole head. Like, it flipped my brain, everything upside down. Like, it woke me up. You feel what I'm saying? And, yeah, man, that's all. Everything good, but I'm more focused than ever. I can tell you that, though, right now. Like, man, like, now, back then, I used to like it. The sport of boxing and shit, but now I'm starting to fall in love with this shit, man.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, if there is a sport that has gotten people out of the streets, gotten people out of trouble, boxing is that sport because it allows you could see the opponent in front of you. You have something to fight for. So I definitely appreciate your honest answer there. Milcar, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, good evening, man. Thank you so much for joining HCP tonight. D-Style, G-Funky, G-Style, G-Funky, and H-Money, you in good company tonight. So,
hell yeah.
Can you describe your style for those that haven't seen you? Like, how would you describe your boxing style?
I'm southpaw, I'm slick, I could counter. I like to bang, but I could box. I could say like a Pernell Whitaker, man. That's the most I could compare myself to. But I could hit hard though too. Like, I don't know. I say I could do everything, but too many fighters say that. You feel what I'm saying? I don't like saying that. Too many fighters say that, but there's only one way to figure out. But I can say I feel like a Pernell Whitaker. That's the closest I can match myself to. Pernell Whitaker.
So you feel more comfortable counter punching? Do you like to press the action?
I like to bang.
There you go. And so other than Pernell, who else was some of your influences as a boxer that kind of shaped the style that you have today?
I like one guy. My father, like, I don't know. I never really watched boxing like that, but the only guys that I could say I copied a couple stuff from and I like to watch, like, and I could copy stuff from them. I could tell you Shakur Stevens, Terrence Crawford. That's one of the guys right now that I look up to, and I like the way he fight, and I try to copy a couple stuff from him. Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, his slickness, fastness. A couple people, you feel what I'm saying? Him, Josue Vargas.
There you go. And in terms of training, you like to spar? Like, what aspects of training do you enjoy the most?
Sparring and the speed back.
There you go.
That's my favorite all day. That and jogging. I could jog all day. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, road work's important, so yeah.
Absolutely.
H Money. Go ahead, brother.
For sure. Armani, the legacy Almestica. This kid is a special talent. He has a lot of potential. He has superstar quality. He has a lot of fans that support him. You know, my question to you, Armani, is how does it feel to represent Puerto Rico? You know, represent the new wave of Puerto Rican fighters with yourself, Edgar Berlanga, and Xander Zayas. How does it feel to be a part of this?
It feels great. It feels great. I'm gonna keep it 100. It feels great to represent where my people. Where it feels great to represent where my people come from. You feel? Even though I wasn't born and raised over here, but I feel like I'm like now that I came over here, I feel like this is where I needed to be. You feel what I'm saying? After I met the team and all that, like it's different type of love, like the pride. It's a whole bunch of shit that, man. Like this, I feel like this is one of the best moves I did. Come over here and you feel me, make the team for my island and put them up there, man. Trying to put them in the map.
Absolutely, Armani. Armani, when I watch your style, it is similar to like a Pernell Whitaker. You're very elusive. The way you can slip and bob and weave, the way you could you know, make people miss. Could you talk about that skill that you got? How you so slippery in the ring and very elusive with your defense?
I could thank God first for the talent. You know, feel me? I feel like that's the main part why I fight and my father. You feel what I'm saying? The way he taught me how to fight and the slickness, everything come from him. The way I fight is because of my father. I can't complain. That man, you feel what I'm saying? Everything like my slickness. It's most of the way I fight is because everybody tell me my dad was nasty. They tell me I'm nasty, but they say my dad was better than me. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, it hurt a little bit, but the truth, you know, the truth hurt. Like they say, but my dad taught me. I feel like it's part of me because I put in like he taught me, but my slickness comes from. I don't know how to explain it, but like it comes from me. It's natural, like natural. You feel what I'm saying? It's natural. Like I told you, I could do it all. Like I don't know. I feel like it just comes from me. That's who I am. I don't know if God just blessed me with that talent.
So I want to ask you, like, do you feel like you were born for this? Like, do you feel like this is your destiny to be a world champion? That's what you were put on this earth for, to be,
when I came,
something boxing?
Before I started, I never liked it. I'm going to keep it straight. I'm going to keep it 100K. Like, I ain't never liked this. I'm going to keep it 100, bro. I never, you know how people say this is my dream to be a world champion, a dream to, man, look, none of that shit was me. Like, you feel me? I didn't get forced into this. But you know how they say God gave everybody a talent, but it's up to them to find it. You feel what I'm saying? And this is the talent that he gave me. And when I found myself, I found when I started winning and going to tournaments and people talking, that's when I found myself in this. And I feel like this is the talent that God gave me. And like this is the talent that he gave me. I found it in the sport. And because thank God to my dad that he changed my life, and because I wasn't doing nothing, he put me into this. And I guess that, yeah, bro, I'm going to keep it 100. I feel like God put me in this for a reason this is the only way I'm going to take my family from where they at and stuff like that. Like, I don't see myself doing nothing else. I don't know how to do nothing else, my nigga. Like,
so what Armani Almestica is telling us is that he didn't choose boxing. Boxing chose him. Is that what you're telling us?
Sir, yes, most def. Just, you said it exactly like that. Yeah, most def. Exactly. You feel me? I never wanted this, none of that. It's just, I don't know, man, to be honest, God, bro. God.
Where were you based before you made the move to Puerto Rico, and what part of Puerto Rico are you based in now?
I was staying in Orlando, Florida. I was training there. I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida. Right now I'm staying in Puerto Rico, in Guayama, Puerto Rico. Now I'm staying like 10 minutes from the Olympic Training Center.
And is that by design? You want to be near the training center?
Yes, sir. I like it out here. It keeps me focused. Orlando is my hometown, my city. You feel me? A lot of distractions out there. I like it here because everybody I know out here is athletes.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
The people judge you by the people you hang around, so you always got to stay around. You feel me? If you hang around 3 people that's doing nothing, you're not going to do nothing. You hang around athletes, champions, that's what you're going to be. So I made the best of my life and just move out here and just stay focused, man. Stay around athletes and shit like that, man. Keep me out of trouble and all that.
Absolutely. We have Jesus Sam in the chat saying, do you look at each fight and find out how to get better? or do you have if it's not broken, don't fix it mentality? So just to elaborate a little bit on that, it's hard to, like, when you dominate an opponent, it's hard to look at it and say, oh, I did something wrong. But do you still find mistakes you make in fights even when you dominate?
Oh, most def. I do. Yeah, I do mistakes when I win, and to that I thank my team, because my team is the people. My team is the people who go over the fight. Even though I win or whatever, they take care of that. Like, they make sure I go. Like, my father, my uncle, Spice, my dad, they make sure when I win a fight, they go over it, and they never look up when I hit a person. They always look at when they hit me. That's right there. I can give a big shout out to my pops and them, that we always, you feel me, we fix mistakes. We don't like mistakes. We don't need none of that right now. We trying to get better and better and better.
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it. Now, we had Xander Zayas on the show like 2-3 weeks ago, and
cool,
you know, H Money put in the chat a question about you, and he gave you a shout out. He said, "Yeah, he's good. Like, that kid's good." You know, when we had him on, we asked him, you know, who are his inspirations from Puerto Rico specifically, right? I know you said Pernell Whitaker, and that's a great inspiration to have and to kind of mold yourself under. But from Puerto Rico, who are some of your influences?
Tito Trinidad.
Okay.
Tito, man. Tito Trinidad all day. Cotto too. You feel what I'm saying? I like Cotto, but Tito, because he's more old school.
Old school, okay.
With Wilfredo Gomez, man.
Okay. All right. I was about to ask you, do you watch the old school? You know, because you're young, you know, but there's Wilfredo Gomez, Benitez, you know what I mean? Do you watch those guys?
Like, damn, I don't keep it. I don't, but I swear. I watch boxing. It could be only when I'm getting preparations for my fight and stuff like that. When I'm getting in camp mode, that's when I watch. You feel me? But I barely, look, I'm going to keep it 1K. I barely watch boxing, and I'm going to keep it at 1K with you.
Okay.
I barely watch boxing. I barely watch them. The only, like I said, Pernell Whitaker, Terrence Crawford, all of, you feel me, upcoming right now.
Okay. Now, the new generation, like in boxing history, when a boxer is successful, right? When Ali was big, you know, a lot of the heavyweights started to box on the outside, on their toes. You know what I mean? Mayweather was successful, so now a lot of guys are doing the Philly shell. Is that something you personally like? Did you mold anything from Mayweather or not really?
Just the way he money and the way he live and the way that he's smart. You feel what I'm saying? He's a smart guy, smart dude.
Okay.
So I just like the way he think.
Gotcha.
How the fighting, I don't really like it like that, but that's what he got to do. What he got to do to win. You feel what I'm saying? If you could win a fight without getting hit, why not?
That's right. And we have Armani Almestica here, Hispanic Causin Panic here on the show, everybody. A couple more questions for you, brother. But I know you mentioned it was like, because I think you said it was like a blessing when you ended up, like, you know, with the troubles you had with the law, and then you ended up going up, you know, for Team Puerto Rico. What was different? Because I know, like what was different about being with Team Puerto Rico compared to Team USA? What were the main differences, positive or negative?
It was good, man. You feel what I'm saying? It was good. Well, first, when I made the USA team, I made the youth USA team. I didn't get to make the elite, so we didn't get him as much. Like, we didn't get to do as much as the elite team in the USA. Like, I was with the youth team. Like, you feel me?
Right.
The elite team and the USA team. This is what I'm telling you. Not because I'm Puerto Rican. I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida. I've been through both. I like the Puerto Rico more. The reason is that because they treat you the same. The training, even for the girl, the same. Nobody get not because you're youth or you're a kid or you elite or you youth or none of that. Everybody here gonna train the same. You feel what I'm saying? Either if you a Spartan, whatever, everybody going top notch. You can train in top notch to kill. That's all. In the USA team, the only reason I like the youth got certain type of trainings in the elite team and shit like that. It was it was a whole bunch of, but it was good, great experience. I can't complain. The USA team, great facility. You feel me? I can't complain. It was super great, but the Puerto Rico, I like it more.
Well, that's a good thing to touch on. Training facilities, people always assume that it's got to be better in the United States. I'm assuming you're talking about Colorado Springs, right, where they're at high altitude. You've got all like the best, highest level of things that you could imagine. But describe what you're getting in Puerto Rico. The sparring you're getting, the coaching you're getting, the environment you're getting that you weren't necessarily getting in Colorado.
The training, like I said, in the USA team, when I made it, I made it in the youth team. We didn't get as much training. Like, we didn't train as hard as the elite team was training. One of the things I'm getting over here is that we all train the same. No matter if you're elite, youth, or whatever, we all train the same, and we getting top-notch work. What I get here is top-notch work, top level. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And it's no favoritism, none of that. Here, everybody trains the same, and it don't matter if you're good or you're bad, they're gonna treat you the same. We all get treated the same way. There's no,
So do you think like you were treated like with care, like they were too careful with you in Team USA? Like, did you feel like you could?
I was, but I think at the same time it's because I made it for the youth team, because the age group that I was in, and that's why I can't really say much because I never made the team as an elite.
Okay.
In the team, so that's why I can't really say much. I made it as a youth. That was 16, 17. I think that was, or something like that. But now the elite team, I don't know. Over here, like I said, the youth over here in Puerto Rico, that we all train together. We all spar together. We all do everything together. And when I made the USA team, we wasn't sparring against the elite like that.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned how you feel like this is destiny, but with everything that happened, it does feel like destiny because, Puerto Rico is like a territory of the U.S., so it's kind of easier than people from other countries to, move to another team. You know what I mean? Like, you could still live in the States, you could still be part of Team Puerto Rico, so it almost like aligned perfectly for you to be part of Team Puerto Rico. But so as far as you turning pro, how do you want your career to kind of go? Because there's two ways I've seen it happen. I've seen the fast track, like Reagan Dow, after like 12 fights or something, he was already fighting for a title or something. You know what I mean? But he was like a gold medalist and stuff. So I get that, right? And then you have the guys like Canelo that had 30-something plus fights, but he didn't really have an amateur career. So you're going to be somewhere in the middle of that. Like, how many fights do you want before you even start thinking about trying to position yourself for a title?
Look, I'm gonna keep it 100. I just want to do this till I'm as healthy as possible and get my family from wherever they're from and get myself right and make sure my kids don't go through what I go through. If I could leave history in the sport of boxing, I'll do it, but I'll feel the same if I don't or if I do. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
And I'll fight for the belt if I have to, man. I'll fight for whatever, man. For my life if I have to, but I just want to get in this I do this to survive, bro. It's the only thing that keep me, you feel me, surviving. This shit opens so many doors to me. Look, I'm telling you, this is the only thing I know how to do. I never worked for nobody. I never worked nowhere, but it's the only thing I know how to do. And if I just want to make sure I get in there, like I said, and if I could leave history, I'll leave history. If I could be a legend in it, I'll do it. But I'll feel the same if I do or I don't. I just want to make sure I'm healthy in it, man. That's all. And get out and help my family. That's all.
Yo, Armani, could you tell us a little bit about the struggle that you had to deal with as a young man, as a youngster growing up? Some of the stories as a kid. I heard in one of your interviews that I believe you wanted to play football, but I believe you said it was something that you couldn't. It was a reason why you couldn't play football, my brother. Just what you went through, what your family went through, what makes you who you are, my brother. Tell the people a little bit about that.
No, man, I come from the rock bottom. There's nothing more low. Like, I don't know somebody that came lower than me, man. I don't know. I come from rock bottom. Like, this shit go deeper than the mud and the jungle and all that, man. I come from, bro. Look, there's none of that, bro. You feel what I'm saying? I come from sleeping in tents, from house outside, car, bro. There's so many shit that, you feel me? I'm growing up as a kid. I'm growing up with my mom and my grandma. My mom was addicted to, I feel sorry, she had an addiction to drugs. She wasn't really there, and it was strong drugs, but it was not no baby. It was strong drugs that she was. Thank God now she's changing. My mom was a whole different person. Thank God to my prayers and all that. Thank you to God too. And and it was just me growing up with my mom and my grandma. basically my grandma raised me. My mom wasn't really there like that, but it was tough, bro. Like, yo, look, it was tough, man. It was I don't know, man. Words can't explain. You feel me? The feeling, man, I can't explain the feeling through the words, man. Like, you gotta be there. You feel me? The shit was crazy, but that's what got me like that in the sport of boxing. My hunger and all that, the way I fight and all that. Feel like that's the reason because of the shit I've been through. That's why I think I fight like the way I fight.
So, given that, here's what I want to ask you, because even though I've been a little critical of the guy lately, there's one thing that he did once that I found interesting. Caleb Plant, when he was going to fight Mike Lee. Okay, Mike Lee, he had commercials with Subway. He had an education, like all this stuff. And at the press conference, you know, Caleb Plant told him, look, boxing is all I got. I don't have anything else, so there's no way you're going to beat me. Do you have the mentality when you go to the ring?
That they're not going to be...
Like, do you feel like if somebody knocks you out right now, that they're going to take everything away from you? Or do you carry that with you to every fight?
Yes.
Like, is this everything you have? Do you have a backup plan? You know, or anything?
I have my head. I like W. I go into the ring. I don't think about no L, no none of the, like, you feel me. That's why I play the food up there. You feel me. If I don't win that day, I'm not eating. And you know what that means? If I don't eat, my family don't eat. You feel what I'm saying? And I can't let my family starve. I gotta eat. You feel me? I'm gonna starve if I don't eat. You feel me?
Does that fuel you? Like, well, when you say you like to jog, like, do you think about these things when you're training, when you're hitting the speed bag and all that?
Most definitely, I think about all that, man. I think about all that better. I think about my life just changing. Just changing my life. You see me? Better place, better everything. Like, I can't lose. That's what I think. I can't lose right now. I can't afford an L in the books right now. I can't. So yeah, that does fill me up inside. It motivates me. You feel me? To that what I'm doing right now in the sport that I'm doing, I know it's gonna change my life if I be loyal to it. If I put in work, blood, sweat, and tears like I'm doing, I know it's gonna bring me something back.
Did you see the fight this past Saturday? The Taylor Ramirez fight?
No, sir.
All right. I was going to ask you about Josh Taylor, because believe it or not, you guys are from different parts of the world, different cultures and all that. But a lot of what you're saying is stuff that I heard Josh Taylor say about his upbringing, about what got him into boxing, and also kind of a struggle that he's faced in terms of kind of holding the lion back, holding the tiger back in fights, and having to kind of maintain that discipline and not just leave it all in there and just be overly aggressive. Is that something that you've had to do in training, whether in sparring or in your fights, kind of hold back a little bit?
Hold back as in like...
As in stick to a game plan, and not just because you did say you like to brawl a little bit earlier on when I asked you about your style. Yeah. But it is the sweet science after all. And have you faced moments where you've had to kind of contain the aggression a little bit and stick to a game plan that's been laid out by a coach?
Yes, I had to hold back a couple of times. If that's the question. Yeah, I had to stick to my game plan a couple of times. There was times I could have, done a lot of, I could have stopped the guy, or I could have done that, but I had to stick to the game plan. So yeah, there was a couple of times I had to held back in training and sparring and a couple of things. Yeah.
There you go. All right, thank you, man.
Armani, for those, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, Armani, for those that don't know, which weight class do you fight in right now?
I fight at 135 pounds right now.
Okay, 135, lightweight division. Are you comfortable at lightweight? Do you like, is it easy to make the weight right there?
Most def, yeah, I feel comfortable. I really want to do 130 with 100 with you.
Okay, it sounds good. Super featherweight, absolutely. So, one more question, brother. For those that don't know, are you signed right now? Do you have a promoter?
No, right now I'm unsigned free agent right now. Basically, that's how I am unsigned with nobody. I was really waiting for the Olympic to go on, but I don't know, man. It's taking too long. That's why I haven't signed with nobody. Nothing. We just waiting on the call to see if we still gonna be able to participate due to COVID. That's why we just waiting right now, because Argentina. I was supposed to go to.
Okay.
He got a phone call. It's okay.
My fault, man.
It's all
Cut
good.
off there for a moment. Yeah. Good enough.
Damn. But due to COVID, I was supposed to go. I'm just waiting on that, man. If that don't go the way it's supposed to be, I'm still. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm fighting out the 11th just to stay active, man. I'm trying to stay active, man. I was out for a long time, slacking and shit like that, man. It's time to beat somebody and time to blow up. Family's dying right now, so I gotta get right. They starving right now, so.
I have one more question for you, Armani, and then I'll let Milcar ask the last question. But you know, you did talk about, you know, having that legacy, like your grandfather, your father, and the people that have had your back. But has there been forces or people in your life that have told you that you can't do this, that you're crazy, you're not going to become a world champion? Has there been anybody like that? You know, friends, it could be anybody. You don't have to say names that you're trying to prove wrong.
But when I first started, you know, it was a lot of people like, damn, remember where I come from, the tongue, you know, what I was going through and shit like that. People never thought I was gonna uplift from the floor like that, from rock bottom. You feel me? And then the way I was running in the streets at a young age and shit like that, people was like, damn, no, there's no way for this man. I had to prove a lot of people wrong in my life, and I'm still, to this day, I'm still doing it, man. To this day, I'm still doing it. But you know what? That's part of life. You know, regardless of what, whether you do good or bad, people still gonna talk about you. You feel what I'm saying? I care less. If you're not putting no money in my pocket, I don't go. You feel me? I don't care what you say. Other
Did
than
the
that,
people that say that, did they fuel you, or do you ignore it? Like, how do you channel that?
no, it hurts. It hurts. But there's nothing I could do about it but prove them wrong.
Okay.
Just keep doing my shit and, you know, staying focused, locked and loaded, and ready for war, bro. That's all.
He's war ready. Go ahead, McCarr. Last question.
I got one more question. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Armani, one thing about you that I like is that you got that flash. You bring excitement to the sport of boxing. In your first fight, you know, your ring walk to the ring, the fans going crazy. You won by, I believe, second round knockout, and your fans showed up to support you. And you kind of remind me in a way of, you know, Mayweather with the excitement that you bring. You know, also like the way you put on a show for the fans. You come to put on a show. You know what I mean? That's one thing about you, my brother. The entertainment that you bring.
I put it like this. I win my fights in the gym. The time of the parties when I fight, the party's the day of the fight. You feel what I'm saying? I win the fight in the gym. I make sure I win my fights in the gym, and I make sure the day of the fight, that's the day I'm partying. You feel what I'm saying? That's party time. For me, that's party time because I already won the fight in the gym. You feel me? My work was done. The day of the fight, that's the day you got to, you feel me?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Milcar.
Yeah, last question, man. For me, I'm based out of the Bronx, New York. I love seeing fighters fight live, especially at the Madison Square Garden. Should I be expecting to see you fighting at the Garden, let's say in the next 5 years?
Most def. Be careful before.
There you go.
Most
There we go. There we go. All right, man. Did you have one more question, H Money?
I just want to say thank you, Armani, for coming through, man. You know, stay focused.
Hey,
keep up the hard work.
Bro, hey, thank you. You heard me? My fault that I cut you off, but yo, thank you. Yo, thank you. You heard me?
All day.
Accepting me, bro. I appreciate this shit from the heart, bro. I know too many people, you feel me? But this shit, when I speak straight 100. I don't no pump faking over here. You feel what I'm saying? But I want to appreciate this shit from the heart. You heard me? You guys, I want to thank y'all for real. This shit meant a lot to me, and I just appreciate y'all asking me questions about my career and shit like that, and you know, letting me loose up and shit like that. I really appreciate this shit, man. For real.
And anytime, hey, anytime, Armani. But I forgot to ask you about your sparring session with Shakur Stevenson. I know you sparred Shakur Stevenson, and what did you learn from that session? And how was the work with Shakur Stevenson?
It was great work, man. That man's he's a sharpshooter. He's great work. He got a lot of great things. He's great all around. But I don't know. I feel like I sparred. He's good. Great fighter. Can't complain. Sharpshooter. I learned a lot. I learned how to take my time, pick my shots. But I don't know. I fought other fighters that's great too, like Keith Thurman, Erickson Lewin, Kid Chocolate, Antonio Vargas, Josue Vargas. There's a lot that damn. Oh, today I just sparred the one that fought Tank and them, Sniper, Pedraza. You know, Pedraza.
Okay.
I sparred him today. This right now before I came. Like right now before I got on live with y'all.
How did you do? Did you hold up well?
Great work. You feel what I'm saying? Sharp.
Right.
We sharp. Remember, we gain and maintain. We gaining and maintaining.
Hey, Pedraza's a good fighter, man. So it's good to get in that work. Armani, I know you've had you just finished sparring right now. You came on here. We appreciate the time. Get some rest, brother. Keep working hard, and we'll keep in touch, man. We would definitely want to have you back on Hispanics, Causin Panic, and keep causing panic out there. Any last words you want to say to the people?
No, man. Just the people that's looking up to me, man. Look, bro, anything's possible. You know what I'm saying? Just put God. Make sure you lead. Tell God lead the way for you, and everything. It don't matter where you come from, my nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Everything's possible in this world, but you just gotta put God in front in your steps. I want to thank my dad. I want to thank my uncle, Spice. I want to thank my father, my coach. I want to thank H Money for real, my nigga. You the man. You heard me? I appreciate you for this. I want to thank you guys. I want to shout out to my island. We coming up, Guayama, Puerto Rico, Orlando, 407-787. We coming up, baby. APK. Yeah, we coming up.
And by the way, we have a lot of Latinos that listen to the show. Anything you want to say to them in Spanish before we go? Español para la gente.
A toda mi gente puertorriqueña, vamos para Simota. Estoy representando a la isla. A toda mi gente de Guayama, Celina, todos los Corujos, Almestica, Meléndez. Ya tú sabes, vamos para encima. Orlando, vamos para allá. Ya tú sabes, toda mi gente, estamos ready. Gracias por el apoyo y sabes que todo es posible con Cristo que lo fortalece. Siempre todo es posible con Dios adelante, ¿me entiendes? Y vamos para encima, vamos para allá.
Perfect. Armani Almestica Legacy. Have a good one, brother.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
All right, man. That was Armani Almestica, man. We appreciate having him on. Took the time to come on here. Great stuff, man. Great kid. I hope he does get signed. And I think he means some serious business. That's for sure. H Money, we appreciate you coming on, brother. And all that good stuff. Anything you wanted to say to the people before you go, man, and plug in your stuff?
Yes, man. Follow me on H Money Boxing on YouTube. Armani Almestica, the legacy. He's a special talent. He will be a world champion. This kid brings a lot of excitement to the sport of boxing. He has a lot of skills. He's very fast, powerful. He got power. He's elusive. He can box. He's going to be one of the best boxers in the world, man. He's only 19 years old, and his time is coming. So shout outs to Armani, the legacy, Almestica. Follow him on Instagram. Appreciate it, my brothers. Thank you for having me.
That's right. Peace out, H Money.
Thank you, bro.
That's right. And we got the one and the only G Funky in the building. And we will be back after this, guys.
Causing panic.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm D-Style Boxing, your host, and of course, Chief Funky, second half of HCP on here. And we're also joined by Maestro. We will have the lines open shortly. If you guys want to go ahead and call in and give us your thoughts on it. But you know what I'm saying? Let's keep it moving. We'll have Christine Lopez joining us in the next 30 minutes or so. So shout out to her. And let's get started with the obvious. Tater, he wins. Undisputed. It's, we've all talked about it, obviously, but just to give the podcast listeners our quick thoughts. Chief Funky, man, talk to us about Tater, his performance, and, just quick thoughts overall about the fight, and Ramirez as well.
Yeah, it was a good fight. I was really pumped up. Obviously, all you guys know, I talk about how much Undisputed means to me and how I feel it's very important for the sport to have an undisputed champion. This one was a little bit different though, because like I said, I had a little bit of emotion into it with Jose Ramirez and his work he does outside of the ring. Very dear to my heart. So I was definitely rooting for him. I wanted him to win. Unfortunately, he came up short. And all the credit in the world to Josh Taylor for doing his thing and becoming undisputed. I felt like he had a pretty good game plan coming into this fight. To me, it looked like he wanted to frustrate Ramirez as much as he could by the constant wrapping up, the leaning on his back, the rabbit punching, stuff like that. But you know what? The referee again didn't take any points. He did warn Taylor a couple times. I see a lot of people roasting Kenny Bayless about his performance. I don't think he had the best performance, for sure. But Josh Taylor was just a better man at the end of the day. I'm not going to come here and make excuses. He boxed well when he needed to box well, and he did a little dirty boxing when he needed to do that, and it paid off for him in the long run. And now he's 140-pound undisputed champion, and that's a great thing. I love that. So credit to Josh Taylor, man, for doing his thing, and Jose, I hope nothing but the best for you. Like I said, I'm going to support him no matter what. And I hope that you get back in the gym, you learn from this performance, and you come back and you become a world champion again.
There we go. Amilcar, same question to you, brother.
Well, I got nothing but good things to say about Ramirez. He's one of the best dudes out there in the sport of boxing. Stand-up dude, fights for his family, fights for his community, fights for a good cause there in California. And he'll be back, and he'll be strong. And G-Funky's right. The better man won that night. Not to say that I agree with everything that Josh Taylor was doing. You remember, obviously, the incident in front of the elevator after the weigh-in. He definitely wasn't the better man in that moment. But when it came down to the crunch time, to the situation at hand, all right, the undisputed title fight inside those four corners, inside that ring, he put on a display that it was a much better display than a guy in his 18th fight would typically put up. He put it on a display of like a seasoned vet. G-Funky alluded to it. He put in a lot of tricks there. You think Ramirez was fighting like a Bernard Hopkins at points with the kind of tricks, or an Andre Ward with the kind of tactics that he was using in there. And Kenny Bayless did a terrible job. He's too handsy. A boxing referee needs to understand 3 clear verbal commands: box, stop, break. That's it. There's no reason for Kenny Bayless to be constantly with his hands up like he's got some OCD issues, always needed to touch fighters inside the ring, ass cocked up in plenty of the camera view, 45 degrees, ass out, hands up, ready to interject himself and become the main man of the show. Like, nah, bro, you're not supposed to be the main man of the show. You're supposed to be out of the camera view. I'm not supposed to be seeing your big ass blocking the action when I'm trying to watch a fight. I'm not supposed to be seeing your hands always it's uncalled for. And I'm not going to say that Ramirez wasn't partially responsible for that knockdown that occurred. I'm talking about the uppercut there, which was a very vicious uppercut. But Kenny Bayless had no business touching Jose Ramirez. That distracted him. And boxing is obviously a different sport than basketball or football or another sport. But if a referee touches you in any sport, you're going to be distracted. And even if it's for a split second, that's going to be a problem. So he had no business touching him. All credit to Josh Taylor for doing what he needed to do. What he was doing was just clinching, and then he was pushing off. He clinched, he pushed off, he gave himself enough room. He hit that beautiful uppercut on Ramirez, and honestly, all credit to Ramirez for getting up from it. So for all of those dudes that have these pound-for-pound lists, Josh Taylor better be on your pound-for-pound list.
Right.
15 fight, 4 belts, what more does a guy have to do to get on that list? Right now, for me, we're talking about Canelo. All right, we're talking about Inoue. We're talking about Josh Taylor. And we're talking about who else could we throw in there? Maybe Usyk, although he's unproven at heavyweight. He still won the 4 belts at 200 pounds at cruiserweight. There are the top tier guys, and then there's everybody else in the sport of boxing. And Josh Taylor has put himself into that category of the top tier, followed by everybody else. So we'll probably get into it a little bit more on Wednesday, special day this week, Wednesday roundtable. And we'll break down the fights that are happening this weekend. We'll probably get into this one a little bit more detail, but salute to Josh Taylor. He did his thing. And salute to Ramirez. Not a lot of guys would have got off of those 2 knockdowns, and he did it twice.
Shout out to Ben Davidson, by the way, who's getting a lot of criticism in the lead up to this fight. Even I said, hey, and I still believe Ramirez had the better corner overall, but that night he didn't. Okay, I think I didn't see any adjustments from Ramirez. I didn't see any different game plan for Ramirez. I think they were very confident that, you know, they were going to be able to overwhelm Taylor, and I didn't see any backup there. Ben Davidson did a good job keeping Taylor, you know, from getting involved in a brawl, getting too front foot heavy, which is a theme I was really preaching a lot on the lead up to this fight, but I did not see that in this fight that much. In spots, he did it a little bit in the third, and you saw what happened. I think Ramirez, you know, caught him with some good counter, you know, hooks, and was going to the body, was hitting him to the solar plexus very well, you know. So like the whole thing was very, very, you know, interesting to watch. Let me just say that. Kenny Bayless, I mean, holy shit. I have more to say about him in a little bit, but yeah, you don't put your hand on a fighter like that. Like, what are you doing? If you're not gonna tell him to stop, there ain't no reason to put your hand on a fighter. Period. Okay. And in boxing, boxing is a sport of milliseconds. It's a sport where if you're off by a millisecond, you can get clipped, and that's what happened here. You know, and I see a lot of Taylor fans saying, "Oh, the count was long." Well, you could argue maybe that punch doesn't happen if Kenny Bayless isn't, you know, pulling his hand like that. Maybe there was some guilty feeling from Bayless, and maybe that's why he gave Ramirez some extra time, because he did, if we keep it honest. But look at the situation, you know. Now, the performance from Taylor, great performance. I think the whole fight changed with that first knockdown, which I actually found more impressive than the second. Don't get me wrong, the uppercut was nice, but, you know, it was almost like a variation of a pull counter. Then he kind of punched him like sideways, and it landed like right on the money. And the worst part, it happened like early in the round. So like Ramirez had to survive that whole round, and that was impressive is an understatement. You know, so I'm thinking Ramirez like has a heart of a lion, and, you know, and Taylor just got this amazing knockdown that changed the whole trajectory of the fight, the feeling of the fight, you know. And I know a lot of people out there saying that the 114, 112 scorecards were a little too close. I agree slightly. I mean, I had it 7-5. You know, I didn't have it 6-6. I had 7-5 Taylor. But let me just make sure everybody understands is when people say, so you're telling me if he didn't get the 2 knockdowns, it would have been a draw? Like, y'all assuming he would have won those rounds. Would he have won that round where he got knocked down the first time? I don't know about that. Ramirez might have won 8-4 if there was no knockdown. I'm just throwing that out there. You know what I mean? Who's to say any of that? You know, I'm just going to say that right now. Before we get to the good, the bad, and the ugly, I could tell Amilcar wants to chime in. Go ahead, Amilcar.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to double down on your point for all of the people saying that it's crazy. I listened to the BBC and I listened to their boxing coverage. They had it 6-6, 6 rounds to 6. And they gave it to Taylor based on his 2 knockdowns. So That's the British broadcasters that had it that way. Yeah. All three of them doing the live coverage. So it's definitely not crazy to think that Ramirez could have taken 6 rounds in that fight. Not crazy at all.
It's not crazy at all. And even those saying, because I hear you guys out there, those saying, I only give Ramirez 4 rounds, right? Who's to say you wouldn't have given him the round where he got knocked? That knockdown changed everything. He was hurt the whole round. The momentum was on his side. Who's to say you wouldn't have scored? You might have had it 7-5, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, who's to say that if the uppercut doesn't happen, you don't score that fight? You might have had, even the guys saying they had it 8-4 for Tater, you might have had it a draw as well. There was no knockdowns. So I wouldn't get all high and mighty and like, oh, the scorecards were horrible. Look, at the end of the day, the right man won. That's all I know, and he won with a comfortable margin, okay? Like this whole like, oh, if my uncle, didn't have balls, she'll be my aunt thing, it's a waste of time to me, but I don't think the fight was that wide. I see people saying, oh, I only gave Ramirez 2 rounds. Okay, well, that's fine, but it is what it is. But with that said, shout out to Rob Boxing, Calix, Tracy, Jesus, Joe Lopez, 40 ounce, Ignorant, Wheelchair, Man, John, round 1. We got Maestro doing double duty in the chat. We got Kenny T saying, yo, what's good, family? We got Mr. Sinister, 24 Jeezy, Anali, Alexis, all you guys, man, shout out to you. We appreciate you guys always tuning in, giving us your time, because time it's not money, it's precious, and I appreciate it. All right. With that said, let's go and start with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let me start with the good, because we're going to go with the good first. As far as the good goes, the obvious is the fight, so I'm not going to say the fight, okay? Like I'm not, but I am. Okay, the good for me was Tater versus Ramirez. Great performance, so I'm going to have to take that one. Sorry, gentlemen. Milcar, what's your good of the weekend?
The good of the weekend, since we'll just start with that, you've already gone over the Taylor fight, so I'll do something different. I'm going to say the good is the news that the Pac-Man, one of the best fighters of all times, is going to be coming out. I'm not going to say out of retirement, but coming out of his palatial home in the Philippines, where he serves as a senator, to take on none other than the unified champ, Errol Spence Jr. That's good. That's going to be an event, and I'm definitely going to be tuning in.
Okay. There's a lot of this going on right now, but we'll get to that. G Funky, what is the good for you of the weekend, brother?
The good for me is that we got an undisputed champion at 140 pounds. That's always good for boxing, and it's always good for me, and it should be good for every hardcore fan out there that calls himself a hardcore fan. You should want these guys to clean up every division that they're in, clean up all those belts. This way there's no confusion as to who is the guy. So that's the good for me.
All right. Chief Funky, start us off with the bad.
Well, the bad for me will be what the good was for my brother Maestro, and that's Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence. I'm not a fan of the fight. I have a lot of things to say about that. I'm sure we'll be talking about that in a little bit. So I'm going to save most of what I want to say about it then. But for me, it's not a good fight, and I'm not happy with it. That's just my take.
Hey, it's an honest take. Milcar, what is your bad of the weekend?
Well, the bad of the weekend is I'm going to give it to Eddie Hearn. He's, I think, the best promoter in boxing by far. I don't even think it's even close. But he's shooting around the idea that he put all his faith in Bob Arum. And, Bob Arum is the reason that this fight is not taking place. And to me, if you're a promoter, you got to do your due diligence. If you're going to be going around trying to secure $500 million worth of revenue for the Fury versus Joshua fight, you better have a solid understanding of the arbitration process in the United States, or at least be in contact with lawyers that do. So I'm going to give that one the bad. I think that overall, Eddie Hearn usually does amazing A+ job as a promoter. I think he slightly dropped the ball on this one. And it seems now like they're trying to figure out a next step for Joshua. It's likely going to be the Usyk fight, but he definitely did not come away looking very solid this weekend as it relates to the Fury Joshua fight?
The bad for me for this style boxing, you guys, let me know what you think in the chat. Shout out to Major Key, Anna Lee, Jo Lopez 40 ounce. How you guys doing? Look, the bad for me was an interview that I saw of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Okay, being asked if, why this Paul Logan fight, and the dude literally goes, okay, wow, when you look at Ali, look at how Lee was later in his life. He couldn't even talk, and so why would I do that? I don't want to, I don't want to go in there and be like that. But for a guy like Logan Paul, I'll fight him. But people want me to keep fighting, but because they want me to end up like that, and everybody, nobody loved Ali until he ended up like that. So that, like, nobody loves me now, but they'll love me when they see me like that. Hey, Floyd, keep Ali's name out of your fucking mouth, and you'll never be as great as him. Okay? They'll be talking about Muhammad Ali for centuries, motherfucker. Hey, you saw a dude's funeral? Okay? You ain't gonna have a funeral like that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not, and by the way, I'm not saying I want him to die or something like that. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of what Ali brought to this world, what he meant to the boxing world and the world as a whole. Okay, dude, like, are you shitting me right now, bro? And first of all, I don't wish this on anybody, but you don't know how you're going to be at 860, Floyd, because yeah, you got hit. You didn't get hit as much, but you still got hit. You don't know what the effects are going to be long-term for you. I saw a lot of defensive fighters stutter their words when they were in their 50s and 60s. If I was you, I wouldn't be messing with karma right now, okay? Just keep Ali's name out of your fucking mouth, bro, okay? When you speak about Ali, you speak about him with respect that he deserves, okay? And stop bringing him up every time you want to big yourself up. Every fucking time. Every time. If somebody says who's the best of all time, well, people say Ali is, but he lost to a 7-0 fighter, and yeah, I mean, he beat Foreman, but all he did was lay against the ropes. I mean, there was nothing smart about that. Me, I was a smarter fighter. Blah 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 blah. Motherfucker, you ain't never fight no George Foreman, dude. Sit your little ass down. You'll never compare to Muhammad Ali. Period. He has a better resume than you, and anyone who knows about boxing history will rate him higher than you, whether you like it or not. You can take the money you make and all that. Cool. Okay, cool. Hey, everybody, Floyd made more money than anybody in the history of boxing. Okay, you could take that with you. How about that? But that's my bad. Sorry about that. Anyway, Maestro, what is the ugly of the weekend?
Well, I'm just going to double down on everything you just said. All right, so let's talk Floyd for a second. Last fights, Andre Berto, Conor McGregor, and Tenzin, I think it's Nakayana, or sorry, Tenzin, I forget. Let's just call you Tenzin, a flyweight kickboxer out of Japan. Juxtapose that with Manny. Manny's fought Lucas Matisse, Adrian Broner, Keith Thurman, and is now taking on Errol Spence Jr. Floyd is now taking on Logan Paul, and is running around like a guy on a show that I used to watch when I was a kid. It was called Cops. You remember that show? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do
when we come for you? And then nobody knows what the fuck they say after that. But go ahead.
Well, Floyd is looking like one of these dudes that's coming out of like that bungalow, with his wife chasing after him with the rollers in it, or the weave hair wrapped up, looking all crazy. The reason he's looking all crazy is because he's not only got hair implants but beard implants, looking like a goddamn fool. This fight is an absolute joke. I could not think of anything more ugly than Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. It's a disgrace, and the man is just embarrassing himself. And I didn't even know about all of that stuff you just said that he said about Ali. Okay, first of all, Parkinson is a disease. Michael J. Fox has Parkinson. Michael J. Fox didn't box. Parkinson's ain't the reason. Boxing ain't the reason Ali has Parkinson's. And no, that's not the reason motherfuckers love Ali. They love Ali because he refused to participate in an imperialist war against the innocent, poor, dark-skinned people of color in Vietnam. He did not want to participate in that. He did not want to participate in the slaughter of millions of innocent people. He stood up for something. You stand up for nothing. That's why people like Muhammad Ali, not because he has Parkinson's. So, yeah, D-Style, that's definitely my ugly.
Not to mention that, like, Ali's not even with us anymore. You know, not to mention that. That's the worst part, you know. But hey, G-Funky, what's your ugly of the weekend, brother?
Well, unfortunately, I have to go back to the fight this weekend and talk about referee Kenny Bayless. I think it's time to wrap it up. You've had a good career. I've actually met Kenny before at Indian Casino here in California when I was going to see a fight. He was refereeing, I think it was the main event. We saw him out in the casino. Very nice guy. But definitely his best days are behind him. That was a shitty performance that he had in what turned out to be a really good fight, you know? You guys are right. He shouldn't be touching the fighters unless he's going to go in there and break them up. I felt like he, you know, like I said, he let a lot of things, he let a lot of things slip. I felt like the amount of holding that Taylor did do, it was getting Klitschko-ish, you know? It was borderline. But you know, it is what it is, man. And it was a part of his game plan. And you know, credit to him, he was crafty enough to get away with it and get the win. But yeah, it's time for Kenny Bayless to hang it up, man. You've had a lot of good fights, or you've officiated a lot of good fights, and it's time, man. Let some of these young guys get in there and get some action. That's my my ugly of the weekend.
Well said, man. Well said. My ugly of the weekend, right? It was Jose Cepeda's performance, bro. I don't know what the hell happened. You're coming off like there's some people that argue you might have beaten Ramirez. Like, you know what I mean? You're coming off of that, like it was close, but Cepeda could have won it. Like, you're coming off a performance like that with Ramirez. You beat Pedraza, like, you know, pretty decent fight, good fighter, you know what I mean? And then you have the fight of the year, probably the fight of the decade against Branch. You get knocked down, you get back up, you knock him out. Everybody's pumped. Everybody's pumped for Cepeda. People are like, hey, win or lose, like, Ramirez got to give him that rematch, bro, after Tater. You know what I mean? We got to see that. And then they put you in against Hank Lundy, and I'm thinking to myself, like, man, poor Hank Lundy. Like, the whole week, I'm thinking, man, poor Hank Lundy. Like, man, Cepeda's gonna beat his ass, bro. Like, why are they doing this to Hank Lundy? You know what I mean? Like, Hank Lundy showed up, and I don't know, man. It's like that country song. Like, I ain't as good as I once was, but I could be good once as I ever was. Like, he pulled something out of something. Like, you just never know with those old cats. Which makes, you know, like, he just pulled something out of nothing. Some people feel he wanted to fight. I felt it was close for Cepeda, but man, that was an ugly performance. And what a terrible fight to segue into this big event. What's it, 1.7 million? It might have had an extra 100,000, 200,000 more people if that Cepeda fight was more exciting. You know, it could have added more people. Like, how many people clicked and said, yeah, I'm not liking this, and clicked the channel? I'm total guess, but I'm guessing a couple 100,000, maybe at least 100,000 that left, even though they knew there was an undisputed fight about to happen. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly of the weekend. Don't listen archive. Feel free to let us know what it is for you. Okay. This show is brought to you by Loyal Roots, ladies and gentlemen. Go to loyalroots.com. Okay, and get their great apparel, by the way. LoyalRoots.com. G-Funky sometimes wears their apparel and all that good stuff. So if you ever find yourself saying, man, this guy G-Funky looks fly as shit, well, that's because he was wearing some Loyal Roots. You know what I mean? So there you go. And I'm loyal to the Roots, so yeah, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? With that said, Fortuna Jo Jo Diaz was announced. Okay, you know, it's official. I know you're a Fortuna guy, Amilcar. Like Fortuna's your dude. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. What do you make of this announcement?
I think this is a great fight for Fortuna. I think it's probably one of the better fights that he could have against a name guy in the division, and I'll tell you why. Fortuna's not the biggest lightweight. He's physically strong. He's kind of sturdy, but he's a lot shorter than a lot of the other guys in the division. He's definitely a lot smaller than Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. So, you know, he's definitely a lot shorter than Ryan Garcia as well, now that I think about it. Jo Jo Diaz is really a 130 pounder. For whatever reason, he just struggles to make that weight, even when a title is on the line, even when it's his title. And for those of you who have listened to me on different platforms here for a while now, you'll know that I'm a big JoJo fan. And I was very happy with his performance back when he beat Tevin Farmer. Now, I just felt like he really lost an opportunity there. He really should be at 130 pounds. And luckily for Fortuna, he's hit the fortune here, so to speak, or at least he's got some good fortune, because he's fighting a guy that he's probably going to be physically stronger than, that he's also very can probably hurt, because Fortuna can crack, and that isn't really going to be beating him in the speed department. So against some of these other guys, he's actually losing out in some of those areas: speed, size, strength, and possibly even power, if you think about a guy like Teo. So great matchup for him. Solid payday. Happy to see him get the fight. I just hope that JoJo turns up for it and that we get a good fight out of this. And also, let's be honest, that JoJo makes weight.
Okay, well, there you go. There you go. What do you make of this? I mean, hey, JoJo's out here trying to make these fights, Chief Funky, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love the initiative that he took. He said, hey, Garcia pulled out for personal reasons, mental health, whatever. I'll step in and fight this guy. I like the confidence in JoJo. Fortuna is definitely a guy that gets overlooked by a lot of people. We had Ernie on Uncensored about a month ago, and I remember I said that. It's like, yeah, a lot of people, they overlook Fortuna, and he's like, what do you mean? Like, he's a really good fighter. I mean, I think he's a good fighter too. He's not the most pretty guy when it comes to right, like looking slick and stylish and flamboyant in the ring. That style is not for everyone. What Fortuna brings is a lot of heart, grit, determination. He's strong. He packs a good punch. He has good speed. And he's one of those guys. He does not care where he hits you. He'll take it anywhere. You're going to block with your arms all day long. He's going to pound on your arms until you can't hold him up anymore. He's going to hit you on the hip, on the thighs, wherever it is. It might even hit you behind the head every now and then, but that's just his style. And those guys are always dangerous. I do like JoJo. Like, I think he's a good boxer. Obviously, his style is a lot more prettier than Fortuna's. He's got probably better hand speed, a little bit shorter with his shots. So I think this is a tremendous fight. I'm definitely looking forward to it. The only thing that sucks about it was I wanted to see Mentiroso Ryan Garcia get in there and fight Fortuna, but we know that fight's not gonna happen. So time to move on. We'll see who he's gonna fight, but I definitely like this fight.
This absolutely. Now, everybody, make sure we'll be opening the lines here in a little bit. Even when we have Christina, we can take some phone calls. If you guys have any questions and stuff like that, let us know in the chat. Put your area code, so that way Maestro kind of knows who's going to call and all that. You know what I mean? And all that. We'll put the number down at the bottom momentarily. I do want to say this, man. I'm definitely impressed with JoJo. Challenging himself against Fortuna. And Fortuna doesn't seem like a guy that everyone's eager to fight. You know what I mean? Like I'll just say that. They're not going out of their way to make a fight with Fortuna the way JoJo just did. You know what I mean? Like JoJo Fortuna wasn't as mandatory. It wasn't somebody like, hey, well, I guess I got to do what I got to do and fight him. Like, no, like he sought him and he said, you know what? It's a big opportunity for me. And he sought it. And he did it and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? So that's all I got to say about that. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to touch on here is just really quickly, we're just going to kind of touch, we'll go more deep tomorrow on the roundtable, but Donaire versus Oubaali, just to give my quick thoughts on this, guys. First of all, I think it's going to be a great fight. I'm actually going to pick the upset in this fight. I do believe Oubaali is a favorite. If I'm wrong about that, I apologize. I do believe he should be the favorite. I just think Oubaali works a lot with combinations, and he's good at his combinations. Don't get me wrong. But that's just gonna he's gonna get caught in the middle combinations, and Donaire's too big of a puncher to do that with, in my humble opinion. So I'm gonna pick Donaire to win this. Probably a late stoppage. I think it's gonna stop the former Olympian, who's a good fighter, and and all that. I like the French guy. You know what I mean? He's good, but. I've come a long way. I couldn't even pronounce his name now, like Oubaali. You know what I mean? I used to call him Frenchie. You know what I mean? So he's come a long way with me. He's proven himself. He bit in away his brother. You know what I mean? And a win over Donaire will speak volumes, obviously. Shout out to the Boxing the Store and Teresa D. G Funky doing double duty in the chat as well. How's it going? Hey, G Funky, what's your quick prediction for this fight?
I think I'm going to have to concur with your prediction and roll with the OG, Nonito Donaire. I mean, he I don't want to say surprised me. I think he surprised a lot of people that were really high on Inoue, and for good reason. Inoue is a good fighter, but I think people expected Inoue to just blow this dude out of there because he was old and Inoue's the monster. But I tried to tell you guys, he is very easy to hit, and Donaire was able to exploit some of those defensive flaws. And not only that, Donaire has improved dramatically with his right hand. Back in the days when he was the number 3 pound for pound guy behind Mayweather and Pacquiao, he was just a one-handed fighter at that point. Very left hand happy, had a really good left hook, a lot of power in it. But I think ever since he fought, the best I've seen him, when I first seen him improving with that right hand was when he fought Frampton. He's landed a lot of clean right hands on Frampton, and then he even hurt Inoue with a right hand when they fought. So now that he's a two-handed fighter, I think he's even more dangerous. Yeah, he's up there in age, but guess what? He's got experience, and we know he's got a good chin. So I'm going to roll with you, man. I'm rolling with Donaire.
Okay. And really quick, Master, because we got Christine here, but just your quick, we're going to go in detail tomorrow, but what's your quick prediction for this fight?
Well, I got a few quick predictions. One, Oubaali ain't going to be worried about nothing. Okay. He's got no stylist. He's unforgettable. And for those of you who don't know, there's a bunch of French Montana songs. Shout out to the boy French Montana from the Bronx, New York. Oubaali and French Montana are both Moroccans from North Africa. And my man Oubaali is going to turn up and do his thing. So, again, shout out French Montana. Oubaali is going to do his thing. He's skilled. He's got power. I do not believe he's been dropped. And I got all the respect in the world for Nonito, but we've seen a lot more of them on U.S. TV than we have Oubaali. Oubaali's been plying his trade, doing his thing out there in France, off TV over here. And he's going to show up and do his thing. The layoff is not going to be good for Nonito. He's been out of the game for a while. His last fight was that brutal war against Inoue. I believe that was in 2019, right, D-Style? It's been a while anyways. He's getting up there in age. Let's just say that the lower weight class guys, bantamweight and below especially, do not really perform all that well, usually in their late 30s. So right now I got Oubaali. Small chance that might change before the fight, but yeah, I got Oubaali, man.
All right, Christine, how's it going? How are you doing?
It's going well. How are y'all?
Hey, everything's good. Everything's good. Thank you so much for coming on. This is your first time coming on as a.
I know.
As a guest, like you usually like co-host.
Yeah, make sure you guys in the chat. Make sure you guys all subscribe to my big sister Christine, In the Ring with Christine, here on YouTube.
That. Thank you so much.
Right. Make sure you subscribe, and she's everywhere. She's on Facebook, Instagram. She's probably on TikTok too, like doing crazy TikTok. I don't know.
I had to stop TikTok. It was just too much. I mean,
Okay.
There's only so many hours in a day,
Right.
I don't even know what TikTok, like how to even do with TikTok. I'm like, what's this? Like what?
Yeah. It's
reminds me of the when I was doing calculus and they put it on the board the first time, like.
Exactly.
The hell is it? Huh?
Right.
Exactly.
Hey, Christine, you were there at the fights, credentialed. To tell us about Top Rank being cheap. I mean, that's my words. Christine didn't say that, by the way. I said it. what's up with no credit? Like they don't give you, they don't want to use, like they were on a budget or what?
Evan, it wasn't me. I didn't say that.
No, it was me. It was me.
You know what? So what happened was, what I was told was, the lanyards were being duplicated, which I can see. I mean, I know people that are very smart and crafty, and I've seen them being duplicated. So they did the wristbands, and they had some barcodes. So every time, we went into the press conference and we went into the weigh-ins, they would scan the barcodes, to make sure it was who we said we were. And I had credentials for those too. I didn't have credentials for the fights, which was fine because I had tickets. So it was just like way better. I could take pictures and do videos. And then when we left, we had to get them cut off our wrists. I was like, I want to keep these. They're like, no, you can't, no souvenirs. So I don't know. I think it was more for security, because things can be duplicated. There are some genius minds out there. So I'm just going to put that out there and say that that's what I think it was.
Yo, but like, you want the lanyard, you want to save it. Like that's the whole. Right.
No, absolutely. I have many lanyards. It's like I don't even, I do, and they're like my trophies. So I get it. I wanted them. I did, and even I wanted my wristband, but it didn't happen. So all I have is pictures.
Unbelievable. So that's why y'all were taking a picture. Like, well, why are they posting the pictures like to show people?
We're really here.
But by the way, you should have shown up, right? And you should have been. I want my lanyard. Nah, we need this to make sure it's you. Like. I'm Christine. I'm one of a kind. Who else can I, like, you know what I mean?
Right. It's me.
Storm in. Oh, nine, I want to ask you about the event. Quick, Taylor Ramirez, you were there, right? And covering the event and all that.
Yeah.
What was the experience like, just in general, at the press conference? By the way, I saw you post something. I don't know where I saw it. I think Twitter. And he said, "Oh, next time I got to go in there and make sure I get my question." Did you do that this time? Did you muster yourself in?
I did. So actually, that was at Canelo. So at Canelo, I was a little bit. I mean, come on, it's Canelo, and I was a little bit more shy, and I'm not really shy. I mean, I don't know if you haven't noticed. I'm not really a shy person, but I was just a little bit more intimidated when it was Canelo. And so I didn't get my question that I wanted to ask him, and I'm still going to ask him later on. So I'm saving it. I'm not going to put it out there. I like to ask questions that nobody else is asking because, I mean, really, if you think about it and you see interviews and you see questions that people ask, they're the same, they're repetitive. And, and the athletes are just like, I'm going to answer this again. Like, So I try to really ask questions that I want to know, that other people want to know that aren't being asked. So I had a really good question, but I was kind of being like, whatever. But, Canelo was so gracious because his PR person was like, "Hey, y'all only have 3 minutes, and the clock is ticking." And Canelo was like, "No, give him more time. It's okay." So I was just like, "Wow, this is cool," But I didn't get in there. I didn't bogart my way. So I said, "This time, I'm going to ask my question." And I asked Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez the same question. I was like, what's going on with the publicity and the attention? I mean, this is a badass fight. Like, this is probably one of the best matchups that we've seen in a while. What's going on? And they both, I mean, Jose Ramirez, he was a little bit more humble and shy about it. But Josh was like, yeah, like, what the hell? Like, we're not getting any coverage. And that's what I asked them, because I was really curious about it. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to take over the show, but it's like, what did y'all think? Did y'all think that it got coverage that it deserved?
Absolutely not.
No, it did not. No.
Not at all. And it still did 1.7 million. Imagine if they actually promoted it. You know what I mean?
God.
It wasn't even on regular television in the UK. That's how disrespectful they did this fight.
Absolutely not. Yeah, it wasn't. So I mean, so I asked the question. I was so happy that I did, and I wanted to hear what they had to say. And it did do well, even without all the publicity or whatever. And I was so happy about that. But It was so awesome because after the press conference, so my really great friend, Stacy Schneider, she's a really top photographer. She does photos for Boxing Scene and Latin Sports and a bunch of different magazines. So we were sitting down eating lunch and she's editing her photos and I'm doing what I do. And Josh and his physio come over and they're walking by. And they came and sat with us. They sat with us for like 20 minutes. Josh looked amazing. He was drinking water. He probably ate and, he was sitting with his people, but he sat with us for a minute, 20 minutes actually. And I was thinking, whenever I was talking to Jose and when the other guys were talking to Jose just looked drained. His lips were really chapped. And I was just like, man, this is not good. Like, I don't see this going good. So I felt bad because I like Jose. But like I said before, when I predicted that Josh was going to win, I used my boxing brain and not my heart. Because a lot of times we do that. And I said, Josh is going to take this,
Man, she's throwing shots. She funky.
I'm not.
I was playing. I'm joking.
I'm not. But sometimes you got to step away. And I've done that. Like I'm a fan. I'm close to some champs right now, and I'm just like, those are my guys, and they're gonna win. I mean, come on, Jose beat my guy, Hooker, and I was just like, Hooker's gonna win. That's my guy, and he got beat. But it just after my prediction and then seeing how everything went at the press conference, I was just like, yeah, it doesn't look too good at all.
So what I want to say is this, because it's interesting because I saw some people mention it looks like he doesn't look good at the weigh-in, but like me personally, it's like, man, it's on camera. Like I'm watching, like really, I'm gonna watch on my phone and like but you saw it live and in HD. Yeah, it's like his lips were dry and all that. So you think he's gonna be moving up soon? Probably has to, right?
I don't know. I mean, I think that he may have to. But the thing is that you have to have. I don't know who his nutritionist is or his strength and conditioning coach. It's like it takes an army. It takes everybody. Like the puzzles have to fit together. It's not just your coach. You have to have a nutritionist. You have to have strength and conditioning. You have to have a physio. You have to have a whole entourage taking care of you, or else something is going to be lacking. And right. I saw that. I don't know. You can have the best training in the world, but if something over here is missing, it doesn't come out in the end. So I don't know who takes care of him food wise, who fuels his body.
How do you feel when you saw Tater? How did he look after the weigh-in?
He looked great. He looks fabulous. He wasn't dehydrated. I don't even think he went to I don't think he had to lose any weight. He looked so good. He looked the same. He was hydrated. He was faceful. He didn't have the dark circles, that Jose had. He was joking around with everybody. He had sat with his people before he came and sat with us. Did he eat? I don't know, but I know he was drinking water. I mean, he was not struggling at all.
You could actually see that on camera too, Christine. Joe Habib could confirm this. He was super positive about Ramirez going into the fight and actually predicted Ramirez by a late round KO. And I texted him after the weigh-in. I said, bro, do you want to change your pick? Because Ramirez was not looking good. Right. And he looked gaunt. He looked very pale. And Josh Taylor surprisingly was like looking pretty healthy. So yeah, I think you're spot on about that.
Yes.
I would like to say something too here. I want to give credit to Christine for picking Josh Taylor. She's been picking him for quite a long time. I think even before the fight was actually officially made, when we were just talking about it, potentially happened. So credit to her. I think Maestro, did you pick him as well? Did you pick Taylor as well?
Yeah, I picked him. And shout out to Scott Hale from Hailstorm Sports Basketball.com. He asked me to make a pick again on Twitter before the fight. And I said, possibly by stoppage. And I think that was spot on because it could have possibly been a stoppage victory. had big ass Bayless not involved himself the way he did.
Well, I mean, he was a little handsy though. Like, he was a little handsy. You know?
I also want to give some credit to Major Key in the chat as well. He came on my show last Wednesday and predicted Josh Taylor. So I got to give my credit where credit's due. Got to eat my crow. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to say this, coming from somebody that was actually there, you know, I'll take your word over if anybody that's just saying that, watching it on TV or like these styles said on their phone. The only time that I really look at somebody like, damn, they look terrible, or I know that they struggle to make weight is the way that they act right after they get off the scale. Like, I seen it right away with Burchelt. I mean, the guy literally got off, was downing Gatorade and eating peaches, eating caldo as soon as he got off the scale. Same thing with Nettie. As soon as he stepped off the scale, the guy ran right over. He's literally going like this, like, give me my damn water. Like, as soon as
Donaire looked lighter than Canelo, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
So I mean, that's really the only time that you can visibly see, okay, this guy probably struggled to make weight. But coming from somebody that was there, to seen them in the flesh, you know, that's different.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw some of the other interviews. I don't know if you saw like my clip of the interview and then like saw some of the other interviews. It was like he was like really rushing through the questions and like really trying to get out of there. He was a little bit hoarse, you know, which happens a lot of times when you're dehydrated. He wasn't really making eye contact. And Taylor was like entertaining, you know, he wanted to be there and doing, you know, what he had to do, answer all the questions, take pictures and whatever. So, you know, those are some of the things too, to look for, you know, in the press conference, you know, before the weigh-ins.
Is it true what they say about Top Rank? Like, they have nice buffets and like they feed everybody good? Is that true?
I mean, maybe the big wigs get the buffets, but I didn't get a buffet. I'm not there yet. I haven't made it, you know.
Well, I did see you look like you were, I don't know, like grabbing a bite to eat or something with, look like Mo Hooker and Teofimo Lopez. You know.
Yeah, you know, yes, yeah. You know what? My girls, I've mentioned them so many times. Perfecting Athletes, they are the best. They're nutritionists. Michelle is a doctor on staff. They fuel Teofimo Lopez and some world champions, Mo Hooker, many. They are the best. That's why I say it's like, you know, what goes into your body, as well as everything else, really plays a part fight night. As a matter of fact, the fight, you know, with Elvis Rodriguez and Kenny Sims, they worked with Kenny Sims for this fight. And I'm not saying that, you know, at all, he's very talented. I've known him since the amateurs, but I think that they didn't realize who they picked, you know, for Elvis Rodriguez. I'm sure that matchmaker probably got his butt chewed after that fight.
And you know, speaking of that fight with Elvis Rodriguez, hopefully the young kid bounces back from that loss. We did see you. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody had told you, but they did show you talking to. Were you near Hooker? I thought that was you. It looked like
it was.
I might have seen you there.
We actually were sitting with him. Yes.
Yeah, they showed him. They're like, yeah, there's Maurice Hooker. Then I think I seen you sitting like maybe a row in front of him or something like that.
Yes,
so I was like,
yes,
look at her.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
They're like, there's Maurice Hooker and some girl like in his way, like she moved. Yeah.
What was the feeling in the arena during the Cepeda Hank Lundy fight? Who did people feel? Like, I don't think anybody was excited for it, but who did people feel won, like, live?
I mean, you know, Lundy gave a great effort, and I really wanted him to do good. You know, he's had such a hard run, but you know, Cepeda, you know, he won, and they felt that he did. But like I said, Lundy put forth a great effort. You know, he really did. And I really wanted him to have a great comeback, you know, and Cepeda didn't make weight, you know, and he looked drained as well. And Lundy had some good moments, but in the end, you know, he didn't win.
Yeah, I don't think he won either. I want to switch gears to the event you were at before that. you were at the Canelo event.
Yes.
How was that experience? Covering the Canelo fight.
I was on an all-time high. Like that was just, it was amazing. I mean,
did you also have bracelets, or did they give you a lanyard?
We have bracelets.
Wow.
We have bracelets too. So I have a partner that helps me with my media, Gonzo. He's awesome. Shout out to Gonzo. And he actually, this is crazy, and I'm a little bit crazy, but I did not go to the fights. He actually went in my place. And but I went to the media event and I went to the weigh-ins because I had something going on that night and I couldn't make it. But he said, they didn't even give me a lanyard for the fight night. I had a bracelet, so I think that's going to be the way of the future for everybody. I really do.
Wow. How did Canelo look at the weigh-in?
Great. Amazing.
No. Billy Joe, did he look any like a dead man walking either?
You know what? He looked good. He looked good too. He really did. They both equally look good. Canelo is always looks good. I mean, at the press conference, he looked amazing. Like I said, he stayed longer. Billy Joe did not go to the face-off. So that's when everybody was like, okay, is he going to show up? He's like, worried about the ring. And someone even asked him, like, Canelo, what if he doesn't show up? And Canelo was like, oh, he's going to show up. Trust me. He will be here. And Canelo sat there and he answered so many questions. So the way it goes is like the big wigs, media, they come in and they ask their questions. He spends a lot of time with them. He does all the TV interviews. And then we, the peons come in and we can ask our questions. So he was there for a good 45 minutes, almost an hour. And he was fine, and he looks great. I said, man, he must be really close to weight, if not right spot on.
Yeah, I think that as far as how the way Canelo's been looking at his weigh-ins and stuff, obviously 168 pounds is a lot easier to make than 154, which he was at for quite some time. Absolutely. But I also think that the fact that he's being so active has really helped him as well to not gain so much weight in between, because that was really the story on him from 154 to 160 was that he gains a lot of weight over his fighting weight. Now I think he's much closer to that, and plus again staying active, staying in the gym, and having real fights. Even though we all didn't like that Yildirim fight, but it's a tune-up. What can we do about that?
And he deserves it. He deserves tune-up fights in between.
Well, actually, I wouldn't even say it was a tune-up. It was a mandatory defense.
That's true. Absolutely.
Right. So yes. It's not like he handpicked the dude. Like he had to fight him to keep his title.
That's right. So what's next for you, Christine? Like what's going on with you and Team USA and all that?
What's next for me is June 1st, I head out to Colorado to camp with Team USA with the Olympians. And June 30th, we fly out to Japan. And let's just see what happens. I mean, there's so much going on in the news, and who knows? It's like every day, it's like we're just wondering what's going to happen. So, but for now, June 1st, I'll be in Colorado Springs, with the team, and I'm getting them ready.
Nice. I can't wait for the Olympics. I love the Olympics.
I'm super excited. Excited.
It's that it had to be postponed, but I love watching the Olympics.
The way I say, tomorrow I'm going to go to 7-Eleven. And that's how Christine says she's going to Japan. Then I'm going to go to Japan. And then I'll be back. You know what I mean? Well, ain't that nice?
Trust me.
Make sure you pack a HCP t-shirt with you. You rock over there in Japan.
You know what? I already got them packed. I do.
Shout out to Christine.
And my t-shirt. Absolutely. I got y'all.
I should have made you a JCP t-shirt. You know what I
mean? Hey, you still got time.
That's right. Hey, Christine, I want to ask you about a fight this coming weekend. Anybody wants to call in, the numbers in the bottom. If you guys want to chime in on this, Haney versus Linares.
Yeah, don't be scared, guys. Call in.
Yeah. Haney, Linares. It's going to be on DAZN. So I want to go around the panel here. I want to start with you, Christine, as the honored guest. You know what I mean? What do you make of this fight?
Haney is very technical. He's a boxer. He's very skilled. He's not been known for his power. Linares is known for his boxing and his power. I believe he's ruthless. He's tough. But I have peeped some videos and seen that Haney has been working with Josh Taylor's trainer.
That's right. So, and Davidson, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, are they going to come with something? If Haney can sit on his punches like he needs to, will that change everything? But for me, I believe that this is a true test for Haney. Linares is a veteran. He's got he's gonna have tricks up his sleeve. He knows how to control the ring. That's his living room. That's his second home. So to me, it's gonna be a really good test. So if he can get through this test, then I think that we're gonna see better things from him. But he's gotta pass this test in my eyes.
Here's my only Fury left Ben Davidson to be more offensive. Haney's not knocking anybody out. Like he couldn't knock out Gamboa.
Right.
So I don't even know this is the right route to go if you want to knock people out. Yeah.
And like I said, I think he needs to sit on his punches. He needs to sit down and put his weight into those punches. He needs to sit on those punches. That's his only thing, because he can box. He can box his ass off. I don't know. I want to see if this is going to be, and I know that you cannot just change in one camp with a trainer. You can't. I mean, that's just, you need a few camps or whatever. But I want to see what he does with Linares, because to me, like I said, that's going to be his true test.
Okay. Adrian Box says Devin is going to win. All right. G Funky, what do you make of this fight, brother?
Well, there's a lot of things that I agree with what Christine said about Linares. He's a veteran. He's crafty. He's been a champion. I mean, I think the first time he won a belt was, 10 plus years ago. So this guy, he's been in the game a long time. I still see some good hand speed, some good pop in those punches. My only problem with Linares is just, man, like I know Haney's, he's not the biggest puncher, but man, Linares, man, he gets hit with something sometimes, and it doesn't even look like it's supposed to hurt. Next thing you know, he's out of there, So, especially now that he's a little bit older, I do feel like this is definitely a step up for Haney, though. One thing that I want to know for sure from Haney, like, we know that the kid can box. We know he's good defensively. We know he's got fast hands, good counter puncher. But the thing is this, I need to see this kid get clocked with something clean on the chin. And I think that Linares is the guy to do that. And we'll see. We're going to find out if he can take a good shot. As much as we like to talk about Teofimo's power, and he's a very good puncher, he wasn't able to put down Lomachenko, and he caught him with a lot of clean counter shots. Linares did. Linares is the guy who put him down, put him on his ass. So we know he can punch, and we know he's a very good counter puncher. We'll just see if the legs can hold up still at this point. We know that boxing is a young man's game. Only the truly special fighters can fight at an advanced age and be as effective as they were back in their prime. So we'll see. I like Haney to win this one, though. But I definitely want to see him get his chin touched. I want to see how good that chin is.
Well said. Well said. Milcar, how do you feel about this fight, man?
I'm going to give my thoughts on this real quick, and then we've actually got a caller on hold, D-Style, who we can go to next after I give my take on this. So You guys remember the name Sergio Thompson, the Belizean Mexican out there from Quintana Roo? Knocked out Linares a while back. Cano knocked out Linares not that long ago. I think that Linares is kind of tailor-made at this point in his career for Devin Haney. And I'm going to go with my man H Money, Mr. DAZN. He called it earlier this week, actually yesterday on Mano a Mano, Monday on my channel. He predicted an 8th-round KO by Devin Haney and was a lot more emphatic about it than I just was. I'm a big fan of Linares. He's been with Taken Promotions for a very long time. Mr. Honda, getting that great training out there at that Tokyo gym that they have. Mr. Honda's taking very good care of him. I was jumped out of my seats when I saw him knock down Lomachenko here live at the Garden. I just think that at this stage of his career, having been knocked out by much smaller men, much slower men, much less skilled men than Devin Haney, that I'm predicting a Devin Haney knockout. And that may be kind of sounding crazy because he couldn't get Gamboa up out of there, but I just do not have that much confidence right now in Linares. And I have a lot of respect for Linares. I absolutely do.
Okay. All right. I mean, just to follow up with Ben Davison isn't known for this offensive style to knock dudes out,
That's a good point too. If we're looking for Haney to sit on his punches and put some things together, this guy's definitely not the trainer that you'd want for that. He's gonna.
Oh, to be fair, I thought that as well at a certain point, but then I started to think maybe that's just the style that we associate him with, because maybe that's what he felt was Fury's biggest attributes. Because Josh Taylor didn't really look all that defensively minded on Saturday. In fact, I saw him going for the KO on multiple occasions. Mm-hmm. I think having listened to Haney, sorry, not Haney, I just saw his name pop up. Having listened to Ben Davidson in his interviews and having listened to Freddie Roach, who was also in the corner of Tyson Fury on that night at the Staples Center back in 2018, I think the reason they were very defensively minded with Fury is because at that stage of Fury's career, given the fact that he was still in the midst of a comeback that followed essentially a fat camp, that they were not all that confident in his ability to stand and lay down powerful punches. They didn't feel
Let's get to the caller though, because we have been waiting. So let's. Who do we have?
I believe it's Brian on the line. Brian, you're live on HCP. Go for it, fam.
What's good with y'all? What's good with HCP? Hispanic Causin Panic. What's good with y'all, man?
What's going on, Big Brian? How you doing?
With it. Since you guys are on the topic of Jorge Linares and Devin Haney, I was just thinking about this fight earlier today. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I think everybody's selling Linares short and overhyping Devin Haney. And I'm gonna say the reason why I say this is because this is gonna be his toughest fight that he's had so far. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can all agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Linares may not be the fighter he was 7 years ago, 5, maybe even 4 years ago. But here's the thing about this fight, and here's an element that we can't overlook. I mean, yeah, is power everything? No, but does it help? Especially if you're a guy that needs to take out certain people in your career that is hard to take out, such as Jorge Linares. Yes, it's very useful. All right, and what I saw with Devin Haney, his last fight, I mean, you're only as good as your last fight, right? This man didn't look that impressive to me against Gamboa. And Gamboa, historically, even in his prime, has been scored like over 15 times in his career, and he wasn't able to knock him down one time. Even going into that fight, Devin Haney has not been known to have much power or a punch that he has that has enough that he can have enough leverage on to lean on in a fight. You know, his boxing skills is there, of course. His jab's there. His combination punching's there. He has pretty good speed. But what's going to happen, and this is the same thing with Ryan Garcia, because I think they both mirror each other in a sense. What's going to happen when, you know, this guy fights someone like Jorge Linares, who can box, but at the same time, and he's shown, you know, in many fights, you know, in the past, we can name them all. If he goes up and barrels down and brings the fight to Devin Haney, what's he going to do? I mean, and plus, you got to understand, Linares is not that past it like a Gamboa, and Gamboa was a blown up. He still, to me, is a blown up featherweight, anyways.
Yeah,
Jorge Linares is still, you know, and that makes it even worse. You know, I mean, he's blown up to a division, and Devin Haney couldn't drop him not one time. What's going to happen if Jorge Linares uses a little bit of technique, but he uses a little bit of aggression, kind of similar to what he did to Vasily Lomachenko a couple years ago? Yeah, he's not the same fighter, but he's not that past it. And Haney has not fought a guy like this before. I think this fight is much closer than what people are giving. And I would almost beg to differ that it's 50%, it's 50-50, in my opinion.
You know what's funny, Brian?
I think that, yeah.
I was actually on your side on this, and I was actually leaning towards Linares as well. And I was swayed by H Money, who's pretty close to the Devin Haney camp. And the reason I was swayed is that according to H Money, Devin Haney broke his hand very early on in the fight with Gamboa and was fighting with a broken hand, but just didn't want to make any excuses. That's what he told me. If that's true, would that sway your opinion at all?
Well, guys break their hands all the time, though. I mean, Floyd Mayweather's broken his hand. I mean, Wilder's complaining about broken hands. Paul Malignaggi, you know, I guess you can name it. I mean, that's a common. I mean, well, it's like that's a common injury to have. I mean, it's not something even in training. If you know, it's not hard to fucking fuck up your fist. Yeah. You know, but I mean, it'll make you not want to throw with full force, 'cause, you know, I just can't use that as an excuse, especially in a professional bout, in a high level bout, in him coming up. You know, I'm just saying. I mean, the shots that he was landing on Gamboa were clear, straight on the chin. You're telling me that, you know, you were able to land flush, clean on the chin, maybe not at full power as you want to, but clean, you know, and you wasn't able to drop that, man. Like, come on. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything really to affect Jorge Linares, especially if Jorge Linares brings the fight to him. You know, I think that we're going to have to see Devin Haney actually get out a victory if he can get the victory. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Brian, we appreciate the call, brother. Much appreciated. Great take.
Absolutely.
And, we look forward to your calls in the future as well, man. Everybody subscribe to the Boxing Historian here on YouTube. Thanks for calling in, bro.
Points. Yeah, made some great points there.
Tomorrow, Brian, don't forget, we're on Wednesday tomorrow on the round table.
That's right. That's right. I want to just respond to some of what Brian is saying, and I hear it, you know. Look, I was one of Linares' biggest advocates when he was just on the come up, like still fighting in Japan and all that, you know. And then I saw him get knocked out in the first round. I think it was Salgado that knocked him out in the first round. And then I noticed, like, oh boy, well, you know, I guess it could happen to anybody. But then in his last fight, he got knocked out again. Look, he got knocked out in the first round. Here are the additional problems with Linares. Look, not only does he have a suspect chin, he has suspect skin. The dude cuts easy. And then he has suspect gas tank. And then he has a suspect, you know, like I seen guys systematically break him down. I've seen guys stop him to the body. I've seen him get stopped to the chin. And what I want to ask Christine, since we have her on here, Christine, is there anything Linares at this point could do to fix all these problems he's shown?
With his suspect chin?
Suspect chin, he cuts easy, the questionable gas tank.
I mean, uses defense.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, is there anything like, he could really do? No, I mean, defense, protect himself. But really, no. I mean, is he going to change dramatically, drastically? No.
Right.
Those things are going to happen. What do they say? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I mean, that's pretty much how it is. But even with that, it's still going to be a tough fight. I mean, I believe that Haney, like I said, Haney is going to have to still fight this guy. And this is the fight that he has to fight to prove himself, in my opinion. I think at the end of it all, Haney's going to win, but it's not going to be an easy win. He's going to really have to show what he's made of. I was talking to Jesus Chavez, El Matador, who Linares actually ended his career, and he was 100% that Linares was going to win. He said the guy hits like nobody else. He's crafty like nobody else. Obviously, this was a long time ago, but he's still got some of that. He's still got some of that in the tank. So I think, like I said before, this is a great matchup for Haney, and Haney's going to have to pull out all the guns. No excuses.
Now, I do want to add, by the way, that although I know I pointed out all the flaws Linares has, I can't get those things out of my head. You know what I mean? Yes, I think he put on a great performance against Lomachenko, but that's probably the performance of his life, and he lost, But hey, I mean, we will see, because if Haney loses this fight, it will be catastrophic. Like Haney would not be who people thought he was.
He's not Lomo either. You have to think about that too. Haney is nowhere near Lomo's caliber either. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a different fight for sure.
Absolutely. We've got another caller, D-Style.
Okay.
I know who the caller is too. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, how's it going? How you guys doing over there? It's a pleasure to be here. It's Kenny _T3.
Hey, Kenny, how you doing, brother?
Cooling, brother. Can't complain.
Busy Bone, what's up, man?
Give my take real quick on this one, brother.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. So, I feel like this is gonna be like this should be a walk in the park for Devin Haney. If Devin Haney does not knock Jorge Linares out, then I don't think he's proven himself, because Jorge Linares got knocked the fuck out by. Sorry, I don't know if I could curse on this show. Apologies. Jorge Linares got knocked out by. Sounds good. Thank you. Jorge Linares got knocked out by Pablo Cesar Cano, who is not that much of an accomplished boxer. And if Devin Haney, who is supposed to be this great, very skillful young man, can't knock him out badly, then I don't think it proves anything for Devin Haney. In my opinion, this fight needs to be a walk in the park for Devin Haney in order for Devin Haney to prove himself, so on and so forth. Like Ryan Garcia proved himself in his last fight. He has to really take advantage of Jorge Linares in this fight. Jorge Linares got a weak ass chin, and yeah, he's been knocked down way too many times. He's old, he's washed up. Devin Haney needs to walk him down and beat him up, in my opinion. That's all. That's my only take.
Thank you, Kenny. And tomorrow, bro. Thank you so much.
That's going to be a tough task. Haney's going to have to come outside of himself to do that. He's not the type of aggressive guy like Lomachenko. We know Lomachenko is a good boxer, but he throws a lot of punches. He comes forward. Yeah. Haney, I have not seen him do that,
Yeah.
But then again, Linares, again, like you said, D-Style, he's got a bad chin, the gas tank. He fades late in fights. If you blow on him, he'll start bleeding. I mean, there's a lot of things there you can take advantage of.
But is it not fair to say this though? At one point, Linares kind of was where Haney is now. Like he looked spectacular. Like the skill was there, and then he ran into DeMarco, right? Well, actually, he got knocked out before that, but people said maybe it was a fluke, right? Then he ran into DeMarco. He was outboxing DeMarco. He was putting on a boxing clinic, hurting DeMarco, had to blood it up, but then all DeMarco do was outlast him. And once he ran out of gas, that's the last guy you want to run out of gas against a DeMarco, and he stopped him. You know what I mean? And to me, that was even more devastating than the first round knockout. Like anybody could get caught cold and knocked out, you know. But when something like that happens, that was a red flag to me. But we don't know how Haney is going to handle that type of unrelenting pressure because he hasn't fought somebody like that. We don't know, and to Chief Funky's point, how he's going to react to a clean punch to the chin. We just don't know. You know what I mean?
Let's hear from area code 956. I believe it is LT. You're live on HCP.
Yo. What's up, HCP? What's up, panel? ¿Qué onda?
Órale, carnal.
Órale, carnal. Yo, I'm gonna try to be honest. Devin Haney ain't proving shit, man. He didn't prove it against Gamboa. He's not gonna prove it against Linares. Linares is washed up.
Hey.
What can I say, man? It's too old, too late. What? Needs a new trainer? I don't know, man. Well, what can I say, man? You know what I mean? Jump in the, what is it? Rejuvenate fountain, or what is it called?
The fountain of youth.
The fountain of youth.
Fountain of youth.
Yeah.
There you go, man. There you go, man. Because Linares is not the guy that we.
I can use a rejuvenated fountain, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Let me know.
Come on, LT, El Niño de Oro, man, Linares.
Hey, man. It's gonna be a boring ass fight, bro. Watch, bro. All Devin Haney's fights are boring, bro. They always send me to sleep. I don't know, man. It's not a fight I'm looking forward to it. Well, yeah.
I mean, I agree, man. That last performance, it's a rare thing for me to not watch a fight at least 2 times. The Haney Gamboa fight, I watched it live, and then that was all I needed to see from that one. That was not a very entertaining fight. Although, you know, he did get the win, clearly won, but yeah, we need to see something. You know, if he had the broken hand, okay, fine. We'll see this time because he's going there against a guy again who's Gamboa was knocked down. He was knocked out twice, I think. He's been on the canvas 17 times, and now he's fighting a guy in Linares who's been knocked out 5 times in his career. So something's got to give, you know.
So something definitely has to give.
I don't know who they trying to lie, bro, because I'm sure that the casuals are not even watching Devin Haney's fights. You know what I mean?
They may not know who he is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, no one knows who he is, bro. I found out who he was like 3 months ago.
Well, you found out, though, right? I mean, you know, like, hey, LT, I want to thank you for coming on, brother. LT y desmadre, living up to your name and all that. You know what I mean? Any final thoughts before we let you go, brother?
No, man. Thank you, man. Hey, God bless the HCP. Ahí estamos, Rafa.
That's right, the HCP.
All right,
Christine, we want to thank you for coming on. We're about to wrap up the show. Tell everybody where they can find you and plug in your shows on Wednesday, all that good stuff.
So everything is in the ring with Christine. And tomorrow, you don't have to watch my show because I know that you'll have the round table tomorrow, so they can watch it later. It'll be on YouTube and on Facebook Live. So tune in to the round table tomorrow and then catch me later on my YouTube channel, In the Ring with Christine. So Women Crushing Wednesdays, every Wednesday, we have a great panel, a bunch of women kicking back, talking about boxing.
Yeah. Good stuff.
There you go. There you go. Christine, I mean, she's just gonna go to like Japan, like it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm gonna go to HCP, and then I'm going to Colorado, and then I'm gonna go to Japan, and then I'm gonna go to the moon next week. But you know, that's all.
I'm super excited.
Christine, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
So much. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks for coming on, Christine.
Christine.
In the ring with the one and only Christine. You know what I mean? Hey, it's time for some, final thoughts here, guys. Maestro, shoot us some final thoughts, brother.
First of all, actually, I'll just give my final thought right here. It's a pleasure to be part of the HCP network of boxing channels. You guys are super supportive. The stuff you guys do is amazing. I'm glad that I can contribute to what you guys do, whether it's just the phone calls or giving my opinions or whatever it is. It's a blessing to have you guys as partners on doing this YouTube thing. And please, everyone, tune in tomorrow night. We're going to be live on D Styles channel for a special edition, a Wednesday edition of the capital THE Roundtable. Thank you, D Style. Thank you, G Funky.
That's right. Before I go to G Funky, man, you have tuned in to the HCP 59 podcast. We did have Legacy Armani on earlier, man. You guys got to check out that interview. Go back, listen to it. That's Almestica. Let me tell you, man. Well, I enjoy having the champions on and the legends on. I enjoy interviewing prospects because there's like an unknown to their future. And what I want to say is this: like the reason I'm even on YouTube talking boxing. It's not to help the champions and the established. I still talk about them. You know what I mean? I try to push sport as much as I can, but it's for those that want to make a living doing this. You know what I mean? When I see a fighter abusing the system and trying to get too much money, when I tell you guys that if you overpay one guy, you're taking money, you're taking food away from other fighters as well. Like I mean that. Like this fighter just looking for just to be signed. This guy's just looking for just a $30,000 payday. You know what I mean? So having fighters like him on, man, it's an inspiration. And to listen to how this is everything he's got, the least I could do is put him on here and give him some exposure, and maybe some bigger channels can look at him and be like, oh, maybe I want to, pick him up, put him on my channel, because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's about the fighters. It's not about D-Style, you know what I mean? It's about me when I'm giving you my predictions now. You know what I mean? When I'm breaking down the fights, it's about me. You know what I mean? But, when I give you my opinion or roasting somebody, but when it comes to the fighters, it's not about me. It's about the fighters. It's about you getting to know them and me trying my best to put them out there. I just want to go ahead and say that. G Funky, final thoughts, brother.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to everybody that was here live and to everybody that's going to be watching us once this archives here on YouTube, and also everybody listening on the Leaving the Ring Network. We appreciate all the support. Make sure you smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. This way you don't miss HCP when we go live. Shout out to Maestro for coming on with the phone lines. Also H Money. And I want to give some credit to H Money as well. I forgot he picked Josh Taylor as well. So credit to you for the pick. And I just want to say this, man. Also to the callers as well. Big Brian, the boxing historian, LT This Madre, and Kenny T, a.k.a. Busy Bone in the house. But I just want to say this. Look, a lot of you guys who are here, you guys are all subscribed to me. So you guys know I was devastated with this loss from Ramirez, man. I really did have that sick feeling when the fight was over and he lost, even leading into the next day. But, I got over it, just like a hangover. Eventually you get over it. And I want to say this, credit to Josh Taylor, man, for winning and becoming an undisputed champion. This is exactly what boxing needs. We need guys to say, you know what, I'm a champion. I might be, I might have one belt. The other guy has the rest, but I'm going after that guy. Or, I might be a unified champion. I need to get the other two belts. Like, this type of stuff needs to be, praised by the hardcore fans. I don't give a damn if the casuals aren't interested. We do enough already for the casuals. All right. They push enough stuff like this this Pacquiao Spence fight to me is a casual fight, in my opinion. That's for the casual fans. All right. The boxing does enough for those guys. All right. They do enough for those guys. We need shit for us now. And going undisputed is for the hardcore fans like myself. I've been saying it for 10 years since I've been here on YouTube. Undisputed is the way to go. D-style boxing, blood boxing, all the guys from back in the day, all the originals, Calex, Raw Boxing, we all love Undisputed, okay? And Taylor deserves a ton of credit, as well as Ramirez for willing to go in there and put it all on the line. You know, both guys are undefeated, both unified champions. It was a tremendous thing. You know, it did pretty good numbers. Would have done better with some promotion, but it is what it is, man. And I just want to say congratulations to Josh Taylor, a tremendous accomplishment. And look forward to seeing the rest of the shows this week. The roundtable tomorrow, Uncensored, will be on Thursday. So make sure that you guys are there, man.
That's right. That's right. Tomorrow we will have Russ Abner. He'll be joining us tomorrow. So, you know, the rival boxing gloves guy. Okay. And gear. I'm seeing rivals everywhere now. Okay. But shout out to him. We'll be on tomorrow. This is D-Style Boxing. And remember, keep it boxing. We are out of here. Peace out.